Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a Master Duel Stardust Dragon Synchron deck profile. So I'm really excited to do some for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful synchro deck to be able to play on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, summoning out all sorts of nostalgic dragons, and even playing one of the most powerful synchro monsters ever created, Crimson Dragon. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like your name scratched during a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 2 copies of Stardust Synchron. This card is an amazing 2-of in the build with a really cool effect that if this card's in your hand or your graveyard, you can tribute a monster to special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the X deck for the rest of the turn except Synchro monsters, but that's all we're summoning in this deck anyways. This card also has the ability, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a spell or trap card from your deck to your hand that specifically has Stardust Dragon in its text, which will instantly get you your copy of Stardust Illumination, which is such a powerful card. We then played 2 copies of Revolution Synchron. This card is really good as a 2-of in the build, just to help you synchro climb into all sorts of plays, with the ability, if you synchro summon a power tool monster or a level 7 or 8 dragon monster, this card in your hand can also be used as a material, which is an amazing ability to help you go in for your synchro plays. This card also has the effect that if you control a level 7 or higher synchro monster while this card's in the graveyard, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. Also, its level becomes 1, but you can only use that effect once per duel. We then play 2 copies of Assault Synchron. Assault Synchron is actually my favorite of all the Synchron monsters, and this card is amazing because it has the ability, during your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, then take 700 points of damage, which is not that big of a deal just to instantly get this card out to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron is an amazing 3-of in the build because this card is a level 1 tuner that helps you go in for all sorts of awesome plays, that if this card is sent to the graveyard, as a synchro material, you can add a junk monster from your deck to your hand. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can send a card from your hand to the grave to be able to special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. This card is definitely a 3-of in the build, and just helps us go in for all sorts of awesome plays. We then play a single copy of Junk Servant. Junk Servant is really cool as a 1-of in the deck to be able to use their copy of Jet Synchron. This card is a really good extender, because if you control a face-up junk monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. We then play a single copy of Stardust Trail. Stardust Trail is just really cool in the deck as a 1-of, because this card has the ability, if a monster you control is tributed except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, but banish when it leaves the field. And if a Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust Synchro monster is synchro summoned using this card as a material, you get to special summon out a Stardust token to your side of the field that's a Dragon Light, level 1, 0 attack and 0 defense, which is a great ability just to instantly get that token out on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Duel the Black Witch. This card is an amazing 3-of in the build, just as a really good extender to summon out to your side of the field. Plus, we can get to our copy of Original Sinful Spools, which is going to help us get to our copy of Jet Synchron extremely quickly. But the main reason you play this card in the deck is because it is a level 7 monster that's so easy to summon out to your side of the field. By just sending a card from your hand or field to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is just a really good effect just to extend your plays. I absolutely love playing this card as a 3-of in the deck, and it's just a really good card overall. We then played 2 copies of Water Enchantress of the Temple. The adventure package in this deck is really good, and this card just helps you get to your copy of Rite of Arameser extremely quickly so we can get to Fateful Adventure and start doing adventure plays. We then play a single copy of Wandering Griffin Rider. Wandering Griffin Rider is great in the deck as a 1-of because this card is just a walking negate, and it's absolutely amazing to play in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is definitely a 3-of in the build, just to stop the opponent from touching the deck. We also play 3 copies of Maxi. Since this is a Master Duel deck profile, you gotta play Maxi, and this card is absolutely broken in every single deck in Master Duel, making it a definite 3-of in the build. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is definitely a one-of in the build to help us get the exact monster we need into the graveyard, like our copy of Water Enchantress. We then play a single copy of Stardust Illumination. Stardust Illumination is an extremely helpful card in the deck that has the ability that you can send a Stardust monster from your deck to the graveyard, or if you control Stardust Dragon or a Synchro monster that lists Stardust Dragon in its text, you can special summon it instead, which is such a cool ability. And plus, this card is searchable off your copy of Stardust Synchron, so it's a definite one-of in the build. We then play a single copy of Synchro Rumble. Synchro Rumble is searchable off your copy of Crimson Dragon, which is why I play this card as a one-of in the build. And this card lets you target a tuner monster or a level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro monster in your graveyard and special summon in Defense Ocean, which is such a cool effect that you have a searchable monster reborn in this deck. We then play a single copy of the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye. We play this card as a one-of in the build to be able to retrieve this card from the deck with Duel Stardust, and this card is the ability to send one other face-up card you control to the graveyard to special summon a level 1 fire monster from your hand or deck, which is always going to be your copy of Jet Synchron that we're instantly summoning out to our side of the field off this card's ability. We then also play a single copy of Wanted. Wanted is currently at 1 in Master Duel, and this card is just really good at searching out our copy of Duel Stardust directly from our deck to our hand. We then also play a single copy of Crossout Designator. Crossout Designator just stops our opponent's hand traps, which is really important in this deck. We then play 2 copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is really good as well, just like our copy of Crossout Designator, it just stops hand traps, which is why we're playing this card as a 2-of. We then play a single copy of Dracoback. Dracoback comes in extremely handy for our venture plays, and this card is just a really good card to be able to play in the deck to bounce cards off the field. We then play a single copy of Fateful Adventure. This card is extremely helpful in the deck to be able to get to the exact adventure card that we need, and it's just really good overall in the build. We then play 3 copies of Rite of Arameser. Rite of Arameser is definitely a 3-of and definitely gets our plays going with our adventure package, and this card is just amazing because it instantly gives us a token out on our side of the field and gets to Fateful Adventure, making this card a definite 3-of in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Synchro Overtake. Synchro Overtake is really good in the deck because it helps you get to the exact card that you need, making this card a definite 3-of in the build because you reveal a Synchro monster in your X deck and then choose a Synchro material whose name is listed on it, that card, and add it to your hand or special summon it from your deck or graveyard to your side of the field, which is a really cool effect just to instantly get the exact tuner monster you want onto your side of the field, and it's such a powerful card in this deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is definitely a 3-of in the build to basically just stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. It's also one of the best hand traps in the entire game, so it's a definite 3-of in the build. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get in to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start with a single copy of the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon is an extremely powerful card in this deck. It has a crazy powerful effect that if this card is special summoned, you can add a spell or trap card that mentions the Crimson Dragon from your deck to your hand, which is a really cool effect to get our copy of Synchro Rumble from our deck to our hand. This card also has the ability of Quick Effect. You can target a level 7 or higher Synchro monster on the field except your copy of Crimson Dragon, return this card back to your X deck, and if you do, you get to special summon a Dragon Synchro monster from your X deck with the same level as the targeted monster, and it is treated as a Synchro summon, which is a really cool effect to instantly get the exact card you want on the field. We then play a single copy of Dispatter. Dispatter is really good as a 1-of in the build because this card is basically a walking negate and works really well in this deck, especially since it's a level 10 Dragon Synchro monster. We then play a single copy of Baron de Fleur. Baron de Fleur is really good in the deck as a 1-of because this card is just a walking negate, and it's amazing that we have this card in Master Duel. We then play a single copy of Trishula because this card is a triple banish, which is absolutely broken and very easy to bring out in this deck. 1 copy of Ravenous Croco Dragon because it's a level 9 and it works with our copy of Trishula and Crimson Dragon. We then play a single copy of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, very easy to bring out and an awesome monster negate in the deck. Play a single copy of Psyframe Lord Omega. This card just takes cards out of our opponent's hand and is a a fantastic card to be able to play in this deck. We then play a single copy of Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon. Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon is really helpful in this particular build to bring out the exact turner you want back out of your graveyard and help you Synchro climb into the exact cards that you need. We then play a single copy of the original Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon is so nostalgic and really cool in this deck to be able to use your copy of Excel Synchro to tag into Stardust Dragon, which is such a cool play to be able to do, and it's just a really awesome card overall to be able to play in the deck. We then play a single copy of Charge Warrior. Charge Warrior is really good as a 1-0 because when this card is Synchro Summon, you get to draw a card. We then play a single copy of TG Hyper Librarian. Hyper Librarian is helpful in the deck as a 1-0, as this card lets you draw a card every time you Synchro Summon, which is a really cool effect to instantly be able to draw into the exact cards that you need. We then play a single copy of Jet Warrior. Jet Warrior is an amazing card to be able to play because we have Synchro Overtake in the deck, so we can summon our copy of Jet Synchron directly from our deck to our side of the field off of Synchro Overtake. We then play a single copy of Junk Speeder. Junk Speeder is really good in the deck, and one of the main plays you're going to be pulling off in this deck, because if this card is Synchro Summon, you can special summon as many Synchron tuner monsters as possible, different levels from your deck in Defense Ocean, which is why we play all the different Synchron monsters in the deck, all the way from level 4 to level 1, so we can summon off 4 monsters off this card's effect, which is extremely powerful to be able to do. We then play a single copy of Excel Synchron. This card is just a really good stepping stone to be able to Synchro climb into the exact card that you need. And then finally, we play a single copy of Herald of the Arclight. Herald of the Arclight is really good to be able to play in the deck because it is a walking negate. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Stardust Dragon Synchron deck profile before in Master Duel, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's extremely powerful. It's awesome to be able to Synchro climb, and it's just really cool to be able to play all those nostalgic Synchro monsters. So that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of Notification Squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.